Darren Goldwater Show. Live, loud, and online.
Puts it up. Whoa! There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. American Pharoah, it's finally the one. American Pharoah has won the Triple Crown. Barnes hits right hard. It's a dig. It is Gibson, and the Tigers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw.
Here are your hosts, Jamie Bradford and Darren Goldwater.
All right, what is up? It is Friday afternoon. It is a miserable day weather-wise, but we have a great show planned for you here. JB and Goldwater Show. You can find us online. You can find us on the Podbean app. If you're listening live, we appreciate that. If you are watching live, you can see us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, pretty much everywhere else across the face of the planet. And we certainly do appreciate that. And we're going to jump right into things here because we have Perry Orth on with us already here to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Gamecocks quarterback room and anything else that may be happening up in Columbia. Perry, what's going on, man?
Not much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You are guest number 3 to be featured on our new Skype video right behind us here, and you look sharp there in your car.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I just got out of a meeting and hopped here in the car, and I was going to do it outside, but didn't realize how close the office is to the road. Man, it's freaking noisy.
Well, we appreciate you joining us here. JB will join us here in just a second. So before we get into what's going on in the quarterback's room, how about just the overall feel in Columbia? Guys are back on campus. They are getting tested. What's the overall feel in Columbia as the guys start thinking about getting back out there and playing?
Yeah, so guys are back, getting tested, working out, small groups, I believe, of 10, and they're excited. I mean, right now is trying times here in the world with everything that's going on, but we're fingers crossed that football still stays on the books, and I know the guys are working hard and ready to go, and hopefully, we'll have a better outcome than we had last season. It's just one of those things that we'll just kind of wait to see and figure out. Yeah, I mean, that's really all we can do right now. If you want to find Perry, you can. It is at PerryOrth10. That's where you can find him on Twitter. And what's the mood? I mean, have you tried to gauge the mood of the guys a little bit as they're back on campus? I mean, is there excitement in the air? Is there some trepidation? I mean, there was an article from ESPN today that basically was going from the players' side of things, and most of them seemed as though they are relatively comfortable getting back to playing. Have you talked to any of them directly about their feelings? Yeah, I have. I talked to a few guys, and they're just happy to be back. They realize that, if you're young and in shape and healthy, this virus and things that are going on are really not going to affect you a whole lot, barring some unforeseen random situation. And so they're just happy to kind of have some things kind of be normal again, and, going through workouts and doing all that is normal again. And they're just trying to stay positive. That's really all you can do is just hope that we're able to move past it, and hope that we're able to at least play the games, whether it's in front of 80,000, 20, 40, who knows?
Yeah, right. Whatever. Just get out on the field and actually play. Well, we brought you on to talk a little bit about the quarterback room, so we may as well start with Helinski and where his status is, where the jump needs to be from Helinski, and I guess first and foremost, it should be his job to lose, right? I mean that's the way it's shaping up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's now he's not a rookie anymore. He's had 11 games of experience. He's been in the locker room now going on his second year. I mean, it's his job to lose. Ryan had some good moments and some not good. It's part of the deal, especially playing quarterback at that level. But I know that, the coaching staff is looking for him to take that next step as far as not only leadership, but just overall physical maturity. It comes with age. He was 18 years old, now 19. That's a big, huge year as far as the jump in physical maturity. But yeah, I mean, he's going to have stiff competition. The kid from Colorado State apparently has an elite arm. He's getting recovered from those knee injuries that he's had. And apparently the word is it's a complete toss-up, 50-50. Best man wins and go from there. So we'll see. And competition makes everybody better. And obviously bringing more depth to the room is only going to help. And it's going to be a true, genuine competition. Let the best quarterback and the best performer wins. The most beautiful thing about sports is that there can be politics sometimes involved, but more times than not, coaches are going to play the best guy regardless, especially when their jobs are on the line. And I know Coach Muschamp and his staff, they don't like to play the political route. They're wanting to play the best guy out there.
Hey, Perry.
Where you at, Jamie?
He's here now.
I got stuck. I'm a little late today, but I apologize. What's up, bud?
Oh, nothing much, man. We're just talking ball, the usual.
You sound beautiful, my friend. You sound beautiful.
Thank
you should see how he looks.
He is a handsome gentleman. There's a lucky female out there in the world somewhere. Hey, thanks for joining. I have no idea what y'all have covered to this point. But,
we just talked about him. The guys getting back on campus, ready to go. Then you came in right as we were talking quarterbacks about Helinski, and is it his to lose? And guess it's 50-50 at the moment.
Well, on the topic of Ryan, Perry, you were the starting quarterback for South Carolina. When you're a quarterback, you have to be a leader, and if you're not a leader, you're not a very good quarterback, right? He's been a leader throughout this whole situation that's been unfolding across the country within his own team. We've seen him very vocal and respecting and supporting his teammates. I'm talking about some of these racial issues and stuff. Obviously, his the guys that he plays with at South Carolina, a lot of them have some strong feelings on some of what's going on in America. But he's been a leader throughout all this. Does that pay off for him? Obviously, you got to play well. You got to play well on the field. But as far as the respect from his teammates, what does that mean?
Yeah, no, it's everything. I mean, you got to have respect for your teammates. You see Drew Brees and what's happened with him, with his comments, and obviously he's apologized and gone through, kind of gone through the grinder a little bit, but he wants to do what's best and make sure that he keeps his locker room intact. And I'm not saying that he didn't mean his apology yet, but I'm saying that, when you go through trying times, and then especially with racism and stuff like that, which is just horrendous that we still have to deal with that. Getting guys unified together to come together for one common goal, regardless of skin color and regardless of race or belief or anything like that. Again, it's the most beautiful thing about sports. I've seen quotes of, you can get people from all ethnicities and backgrounds to get together and support one team, regardless, and everybody's high-fiving and hugging. And, we need to take more of that avenue in real life. And, watching Ryan from a distance and hearing and seeing what he's been doing, it's unifying. So hopefully it'll pay off for him. Hopefully it pays off for the team too.
Perry, your last year at South Carolina was 2016. Which would mean that puts you in you were there with some pretty good quarterbacks. What does this quarterback room look like to you when you've got Ryan, you got Colin Hill who transferred in? I know y'all were you were just mentioning him a moment ago and rebounding from his injury. Now Luke Doty is there. That's a talented group of kids.
Yeah, no, it is, and again, it just provides depth, and anytime you have depth, it's going to breed competition. When competition breeds success, and if you can compete and bring that mental focus each and every day to practice, knowing that like I can't afford a bad day of practice, I cannot afford a bad rep. I have to be dialed in every single time I have an opportunity to throw the football, and it makes you better. You're going to perfect your craft because every rep you get is going to be one of high quality. And sometimes you can get complacent when no one's really pushing you. And so having numerous guys push each other is only going to help. Now, obviously, quarterback, only one guy can play, but I believe by the time camp is done, the best guy will be starting for the first game.
Can I follow up with that real quick?
No.
Let me follow up with this real quick. Yeah, from your you have an interesting perspective, Perry, because in 2013, you had just gotten to South Carolina, I think, right? Like maybe spring semester, right?
Yep.
And so that fall, so you were on the roster at South Carolina. That was Connor's final year. Mm-hmm. And Dylan was there and set to take over in 2014, but he played a little bit that year. I think you actually maybe played in a game or two that year as well. When in 2013, you were just a young buck on that roster, looking up at Connor Shaw and Dylan Thompson. Can you describe that experience? I'm trying to put you in the shoes of like a Luke Doty and what he can learn from those guys above him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it well. Just learning how they conducted themselves, I think, was more important than anything, because I knew eventually I was going to learn the playbook and eventually I was going to know what the coaches asked. But learning how they went about a day-to-day of being, what's it truly like a day in the life of being the starting quarterback at South Carolina. Connor was not as vocal as Dylan. Connor took more of a lead by example route where he just did his job and he worked hard at it. He spent time watching film. And wasn't a huge rah-rah guy, but guys knew, like, when push came to shove, Connor was going to, one, get the job done, but two, fight and claw for everything that he got. And then Dylan took more of that leadership role in the vocal. He was, breaking down the huddles every time and was consistently in front of people as far as encouraging and uplifting. And so I saw two different ways of leadership. And then I was kind of honestly, like, more right in the middle of both. And so it was neat for me. So for Luke, Luke needs to see, how does Ryan conduct himself? How does Colin conduct himself? Colin's a little older and more experienced than Ryan. And so he gets the best of both worlds. And then he can really learn a lot from Colin, considering that Colin's coming from Bobo's system. And he can really learn the X's and O's side. And then, Ryan can help him make, hey, listen, I've been the starter here, obviously, for a year. This is what's going to happen when you are thrust into that role one day.
Who do you expect to come out of that room on day one as the opening day starter?
Man, what a great question. I don't know. From what I've heard, it sounds like this Colin Hill kid is pretty talented. I don't know what it's like to recover from 3 ACLs. Obviously, Ryan has been working his butt off this offseason, so man, I hate to even give the politically correct answer, but I really have no idea. I think Ryan's ultra talented and does a lot of great things, but I know that they're really high on Colin Hill. And then the other question that, kind of makes you want to lean towards Colin Hill is that he didn't transfer out here to back Ryan up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on as far as that goes or how advanced he really is. I've never seen him play, but I know that Coach, Bobo wasn't going to bring him if he didn't feel like he could help the team.
Well, so there's going to be fans who, if they hear that question and a guy like you, an expert in the quarterback department in football, a guy like Perry or somebody else says, "Man, I don't know who's going to be the starter." There's going to be some who look at that and think of that negatively because Ryan started 11 games last year for South Carolina. But I don't look at it like that. I look at it as that's very positive. Obviously, Ryan is going to be better. You've talked about Colin. He knows Bobo's offense. He's been around a while. He's a state of South Carolina kid, which is good news. And so I guess the fans are going to look at this. There's going to be some look at it and go, "This is great. We've got competition. Competition is a good thing." There's going to be also fans look at it and say, "There's competition. That's not good. That means Ryan hasn't gotten that much better." But I don't believe that to be true at all.
No, definitely